Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have been blessed with the patch notes for update 2.9.5. What that means, guys, is the newest update is going to drop very soon. It's going to activate the maintenance in about 9 hours from the drop of this video. It's a different maintenance time than you're used to, so please check on the links in the description and make sure that you know when the game goes into maintenance so you don't lose any items, so you aren't stuck, trying to load up the game when it's not in maintenance. It's going to be in maintenance for about 6 hours, so it's shorter than before. And then when it drops, guys, I will be live streaming. Yes, we will be live as soon as the update is ready to play in the Play Store, in the App Store, and we will be testing all of this stuff out firsthand. So come check it out on YouTube, guys. It's going to be super exciting. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into what we're getting, guys. We are getting 3 new characters, including Ghost Rider, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Robbie, Reyes. Not a uniform, guys, a real character. I am very excited for him. What is he getting? Well, he's got the Bullseye Leadership, which is fantastic for Shadowlands. That's 10% dodge ignore. That's going to jump up to at least 50% when he's at max mastery, which is awesome. We don't have any characters in the game that do that other than the 20% on Doctor Strange, and then the big 50% on Bullseye, so that's great. His 4-star passive is kind of funny, 80% chance to be immune to fire damage, but that's okay. His tier 2 passive seems quite strong, crit rate, dodge guaranteed, and then increased bonus and skill damage, so some survivability, some DPS. His skills seem pretty straightforward. Increasing all speeds by 10% for 10 seconds is pretty strong. That is going to make him zip around. His animations, if you haven't seen the update video, guys, at the top of this page that I'm on, is amazing. You should definitely go and check it out. The flaming car makes multiple appearances. He does like pirouettes. He looks like he has some iframes spinning upside down with the chains. It's very cool. He also has a bind for 3 seconds and a guard, which is some survivability on Tire Scorcher, which is great. Overall, looks like a very fun character to play, and I'm curious to see how Robbie Reyes ranks up to the Ghost Rider that we know and love right now in the game, Nicolas Cage. Next up, we have the, suspected for a while, Hellcat, as teased by that Jessica Jones portrait that we talked about in another video. She's going to be a speed character, which is cool. She's going to have a pretty pathetic leadership, but we're kind of used to that for speed types at this point. Her 4-star passive is kind of bad. It's just a bleed. I don't really like bleeds anymore. I think it's kind of an outdated skill. It's an outdated effect. They need to buff it, but okay. And then her tier 2 passive increases the bleed, which is nothing special, but it also gives her crit damage and guaranteed dodge. It seems like Netmarble has fallen in love with tier 2 passives that give crit rate or crit damage, whether it's to just the character or to all allies. So I'm kind of getting tired of it. Hopefully they'll come up with something a little bit more creative pretty soon. Cat's Cradle is a bit of a funny name. Most of her skills just have blank text, but her Sharp Claw's 3rd skill does buff her crit rate, which is good. And then her Fierce Claw 5th skill has a 3-second stun. Here's hoping that some of Hellcat's skills have iframes, because otherwise there's not a lot to it. But the big character of this update, guys, the one that we were expecting since the most recent tease, and the one who looks to have the most promise, Kid Kaiju. Also a speed character, and most notably the first paywall specific speed character. Now, before we did have Gwenpool, who was partially paywall, but she can be had as a shifter in the special missions for New Avengers. However, Enchantress, Hyperion, and Carnage were only available and have only been available through the 20 biometrics daily and no other way. As well, Ironheart. So we had Blast, Universal, and Combat, but no speeds. Kid Kaiju is breaking the mold. The only way to get his bios is by ponying up some money or starting a new account and getting those bios as part of your 3 set that you get for starting a new game. We're gonna have to pony up, guys. Kid Kaiju looks like he's gonna be a bit of a beast. The leadership is the same as Wasp's, so at max rank he's gonna give 18% all attack, all defense, and 6% speed. That's not something to write home about, but his tier 2 passive, if I understand the wording correctly, is good. It's going to apply his leadership basically to all allies to the tune of 20% all attack, 20% all defense, and 10% all speed. So basically his tier 2 passive applies a better version of Wasp's leadership to the whole team. So it's almost like you have two leaderships going on when you have Kid Kaiju on your team. That's going to make him basically a must-have for Extreme Alliance Battle Speed Hero Day. An absolute must-buy, guys. So, you know, Kate Bishop, yes. Maybe Yondu or Hawkeye, yes. But then Kid Kaiju, absolutely. And it might make him a very relevant player in the No Restriction Day with Doctor Strange, She-Hulk, and currently Phil Coulson. We'll have to see just how powerful his tier 2 passive is, but it's reading at a very high power level, something over 9,000 it currently seems. His 4-star passive is Haivo, the giant blue kaiju that he draws in the video if you haven't already seen it. And when he gets to tier 2, it goes from 80% of his stats to 135% of his stats. That's crazy, and it's going to work similar to the dinosaur devil, for Moon Girl. So it's going to summon, attack when it dies, or when it finishes the cooldown, it will go away for a few seconds, then it will come right back. So almost a permanent summon. His tier 2 passive will also increase his damage, both for skills and for bonuses. So that's fantastic. His skills there, Fireclaw Summon and Cynicalex Summon, are the ones that we saw in the video as well. He does get more kaiju that come out, but they just come out for skills. They do something, they give him some iframes, and then they disappear. But we will see them. He also has a buff that applies to all allies, Sketch Up, increasing both dodge and all attacks. So you could use him to, you know, activate a buff and then pass it on to someone else. But Kid Kaiju might be a beast, pun intended, all on his own, so he might not need to pass that Sketch Up to anyone. And then the rest of his skills just have pretty cute names. Overall, I am super excited for Kid Kaiju. As you guys can see here, he is only available through the biometric daily 20 sub, so we will have to pay. But we can get Robbie, Reyes, and Hellcat through Shadowland selectors and other bio selectors that we regularly get. So you can farm them that way. And that's pretty cool. On top of that, guys, we are getting 5 new uniforms. We are getting Iron Fists like Jew, Afro, Marvel Now, or Marvel's Iron Fist Netflix series uniform. The Netflix series might not be doing so well, but this uniform looks pretty badass. He's got no shirt. He's rocking the surfer vibe. He's got the tattoo in the middle. And he's got the exact same effect that his other uniforms have, which is good. But Iron Fist is also getting changes to some of his skills. He's getting changes to 3 different skills. So we're going to have to see just how differently the old Iron Fist plays out. Luke Cage is also getting his Netflix uniform, which is fantastic. So we have 2 Netflix uniforms so far. It's the same bonus or benefit as his other uniform, the all new, all different snazzy outfit, but it also adds a guard break stun effect on his street style skill, and Luke Cage will have 2 skills changed as per the leaked images from the Taiwanese Mobirum, I believe. Elektra, as we saw on a previous tease, is getting her Marvel Daredevil Netflix series uniform, so that's 3 Netflix related uniforms so far. Her uniform is actually quite powerful. With a 2-second cooldown every time you use throwing size, she increases her crit damage by 15% for 5 seconds and all speed by 10% for 5 seconds. That's a pretty sizable bonus, and throwing size is a good skill to use because of the iframe, so it's a pretty nice effect. And unfortunately, it doesn't change any of her skills, but she did get a recent makeover totally from top to bottom, so I don't think it would be fair to add any changes now, and it would kind of take the shine off of the character that they did by just changing her for everyone regardless of their investment in Elektra. So I'm happy that they didn't do that. Finally, we are getting Punisher's Daredevil Netflix uniform. So that's 4 Netflix related uniforms. Wow, Netflix, how much money do you owe Netmarble? Maybe $10. Anyways, guys, this uniform bonus is absolute trash. I honestly don't know what they were thinking. Even though it changes 3 of Punisher's skills, I don't think that's enough. 5% chance when attacking is an absolute joke. 5% of anything is a joke. 20% cooldown is also a joke. 30% skill cooldown is also a joke. That's half of the bonus you get from just being in a level 30 alliance. So this uniform bonus is basically non-existent. You'd only be buying this if you want to see him look like a badly drawn John Bernthal, and hopefully the skill changes will give him some iframes, because otherwise Punisher is still, spoiler alert, irrelevant. Lastly, we are getting Karnak's badass hooded uniform from his most recent comic run. The effect is not that good. 15-second cooldown I feel is too long, but it is pretty meta right now. 35% chance when he gets debuffed to remove the debuff for 2 seconds. So you can avoid Doctor Strange's time freeze the first time it happens, but then after those 2 seconds, if he punishes you again with a time freeze or another skill, you're going to be stuck there until the 15-second cooldown comes down. It only changes one of Karnak's skills, but we have seen a few uniforms in the past that with just one skill change have been really impactful, so I will hold my breath to judge the ultimate value of that uniform. Next up, guys, we are getting skill or character, growth charts. So here we can see that this Doctor Strange has a combat power total score of 63,000 and a bit, and it puts him in the top 8% of all characters. Now this update, or at least these notes right now, don't tell you how that information is being calculated. It does show it on the main page, but as you know, guys, you can manipulate the energy attack or the physical attack of a character just by putting them in a different team up. So my Doctor Strange might be in the top 10% with no leadership, but then if I put in Ancient One's leadership and I put in Baron Mordo to get all those team up bonuses, all those badges, suddenly my Doctor Strange might jump from being in the top 10% to being in the top 5%. So I'm not sure how that's going to calculate, if it's going to calculate every day or if it's going to be a live calculator that you can manipulate just by improving your character. That would be really cool if, like, you roll a new ISO 8 set and you equip all awakened ISOs, and suddenly you can see that number going up, that combat power going up, and your character rising in the ranks globally. I don't know if that's a lot of strain to put on their servers, if they could actually manage to do that, or if it refreshes maybe every minute. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it looks pretty cool and it looks very handy, at least from this image, for new players. If they don't understand what they did wrong with their ISO 8, equipping all Nimbles, if they don't understand what they did with their skill upgrades, because Sorcerer Supreme is at level 1 instead of at level 6, this potentially can help them by showing them the mistakes they've made. So that's pretty cool, pretty interesting to me. I'm not sure what this 4 means, but we'll have to wait and see just how that pans out. We are also getting character ranking in the sub menu. I kind of wish that they had put this on the main page to give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more pizzazz and showing in the game, but it looks pretty cool. As you guys can see here, the rank per character and then maybe their effectiveness in story, world boss, and timeline will be listed. You will have your actual rank there, so we can see Jocasta is rank 2 in the world. And you can go there on the right hand side and just change the character you want to see their combat power score. I am going to spend a lot of time measuring my EPing, trying to find which characters I can find or I can boost to be, you know, in the top maybe 50 in the world. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for that. Also, guys, we are getting uniform upgrade changes. So this kind of confused people at first, but it's a fairly simple change they're making, and I think this is probably the best change that they could have made given the circumstances. So with the changes, guys, I'll explain the changes first and then I'll explain, you know, the difference. With the changes now, you do not need to buy any additional uniforms to upgrade your character's uniform. So if I want to upgrade Spider-Man's all new and all different uniform from normal to mythic, I can do so without having any of the other uniforms that it lists. I don't need Sister Grimm's uniform. I don't need Shamalama Ding Dong's uniform. I don't need Chewbacca's uniform. I don't need them. I can just keep hitting upgrade as long as I have the bios, the Nordstones, and the blue boxes and the gold or whatever the required upgrade materials are. However, if I don't have the uniforms, I will only get the stat increase for all attack and all defense. So I could potentially have a uniform that's mythic rank, but because I don't have any of the required uniforms, all I'm getting from that uniform is 20% all attack and 20% all defense. However, when I do get a uniform, when I do eventually buy one of those optional uniforms, it will unlock that extra stat line that you see now currently for the character. So for example, I bought the Winter Soldier, or sorry, War Machine Civil War uniform that unlocked the HP slot or the HP stat for the Spider-Man uniform. This is a really good thing because it allows you to mix and match. If you want to upgrade Doctor Strange's uniform to mythic, but you don't want, let's say, the 3rd stat or the 4th stat because it's HP or all defense or something bad like that, it's not a crucial stat, you can save crystals. It's totally optional. You can decide how much investment you make as opposed to being stopped at a certain point because you don't have that specific uniform. That's really good. It's also really good because for people who have already invested in those uniforms, like me, we don't get shafted. Those uniforms still do something. Now, I wish that I'd done this in the beginning so I didn't have to buy some uniforms, but I probably would have still bought most of them because I want my characters to be complete in some way. You know, I do have a bit of a completionist's mentality. So it is nice that they're both appeasing people who are new to this system, who can now start to invest in it confidently, and people who have already invested in it, who are, you know, 10,000 or more crystals deep in, you know, miscellaneous uniform purchases. So I think this system is good. I think it's balanced and I think it's fair. And I think you guys should also take note of the fact that it says upgrade ticket. Yes, guys, we got a leaked image, or we got an extra additional image from one of the other MOBA Room sites in a different language, and it seems like Netmarble is going to start selling upgrade tickets. And it's exactly how it sounds, guys. You can buy a ticket and it will automatically rank up your uniform from whatever, normal to advanced, if it's the advanced ticket, or advanced to rare if it's the rare ticket, or rare to heroic if it's the heroic ticket. These work the same way as the rank up tickets that we already know and maybe love or hate, and maybe it means there will be something like a mega uniform rank up ticket for big money. They got to make their dough somehow, guys. We are also getting timeline battle changes, as we knew this was coming, guys. As you can see, this week's recommended and restricted heroes in the League Bronze. So what that means is the recommended and restricted heroes will probably be different for all the different leagues. They're not going to be the same. And what's good about this is that apparently the recommended hero list will be different for every player. It won't be exactly the same. So I won't have to make up a team of Black Bolt, Hellstorm, and Black Panther and then face other Black Bolts, Black Panthers, and Hellstorms for a whole week. So that's good, because if the recommended hero list was exactly the same, timeline would be so much more boring than it is now, and I didn't even think that was possible. However, the restricted heroes will be exactly the same, hopefully, for everyone in the same league to make it fair. So that's really good. I wish that they made it change every day instead of every week, but I can live with it if they have enough recommended heroes. If they have at least 5, I would prefer 10 or 9 or some multiple of 3 that's higher than 6. But I think in this current iteration it's okay. As you guys can see here, you will get bonus points for using the recommended heroes, and it seems like the bonus points will either be added to your timeline score so that you can get more crystals, or they will be added to bonus honor tokens. As well, guys, the bonus points will be limited per day, so you can't like go and farm them and stuff like that. And it will also give us access to friendly matches, guys. This is the part that I'm super excited about. So you can actually go and find the top characters or the top players in the game and challenge their timeline battle team on your own. It's purely for fun, guys. It's purely for bragging rights and honor. There's nothing to gain or lose from it. So this will be a really fun way to interact with other players in the game. If you've ever wanted to challenge the top dogs in timeline battle and see just how powerful they are, now you can go and do it as many times as you want, as often as you want. If any one of your friends happens to make it into the top 100 and they're listed here, you can go and battle them as many times as you want. In addition to that, you'll be able to battle your friends in your friends list and the people in your alliance. As you can see here, it lists out friends list and alliance list. So you can potentially battle with up to 90 different people, guys. 40 from your alliance, 50 from your friends list. That's just awesome. I cannot wait to battle with you bros on the live stream. It's going to be really exciting. They are also bringing some quality of life changes to the game, and I always love seeing these because it shows that Netmarble listens to the community and they're willing to change things for us. So they're giving us a way to sort characters that we want to bring into World Boss, which is great. It's going to show us the mastery now on the page, which is also good. And it's also going to let us choose strikers by how recently we use them. Holy shit. This is genius. This should have been in the game since the beginning, because a lot of times the 5 best strikers are like Doctor Strange, Odin, Proxima, and all these characters are in different places on the list because Proxima's abnormal, Odin is, you know, offensive or defensive, and then Strange is offensive. So they're all scattered and you have to scroll up and down. It saves your fingers a lot of energy, guys. And I will point out, they did something really weird to Hulk's face. I don't know if this is a spoiler for the Ragnarok uniform that we're getting for Hulk, for Thor Ragnarok. But guys, you got to keep your eyes peeled on these patch notes, because there's some hidden gems from time to time. So this is fantastic, guys. I cannot wait to play with this new update when it goes live, and I cannot wait to see you guys there and check it out with you guys on the live stream. So I hope you guys will check it out. I hope you guys will let me know what you think of this update, who you want to invest in the most, what you think of the new characters and the new uniforms and all the new stuff. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.